Welcome to a BumbleKast Mini, sponsored by Chaos Sonic 1.
Let's jump into Chaos Sonic 1's questions, starting with, since my friend Brown Phantom and I are making fanfics based on combining all the history of Sonic, be it the Nikki manga, Archie, Sad AM, Adventures of, Boom, and of course, the games / IDW, if you don't mind, if we include ideas that you answer from these questions?
No, man, fanfic is your domain. Go nuts.
Yeah, if you want to use any ideas we come up with for whatever you want to do for fanfic or anything like that, go for it. Next question. So, have you ever gone out of your way to research ideas like how characters would act, as in act them out, favorite foods, and try their favorite foods, like escargot for Antoine and that stuff?
I wouldn't say go out of my way, because that belies a certain degree of extra effort. But if I don't feel confident that I know the answer already, I will do my research. But that's just typical due diligence. I feel like that's what you should just do by default.
All right. That makes sense. How does Game Tales feel about magic? Does he dislike it or not? Especially compared to how he was more in line with the magical compared to Fleetway and Archie.
I imagine he would look at it with a degree of scientific skepticism, but he wouldn't dismiss it. He would want to research it and find out what's going on. And if his conclusion was, it's magic, he'd be like, huh, okay, magic's a thing. Let me learn about it.
Yeah. But he would also be like, magic. It's just science we don't understand. So it would just become science to him if he decided to try and figure out how it worked. I could see him getting interested in it and be like, well, okay, cool. If Surge and Kit get Pokemon, which one would it be? And no, Kit would get whatever Surge tells him to get. Doesn't count, and it is cheating for story purposes. But if you're insistent on it, then what Pokemon that suits Kit would follow Kit to be his Pokemon?
All right, I'm going to provide you with links, Kyle, so that you can properly see what this is.
Okay.
So, Surge would absolutely get a Toxtricity. Amped form, naturally.
Oh, yeah.
Punk, rocker, poison, electric type, I feel like that's just...
I mean,
that's dead on.
I mean, that's kind of a given. I mean... Maybe a little too on the nose.
She would give Kit an Impidimp because it's this stupid little piddly thing. She would find it funny and it's like, here, kid, this is yours now. And he'd be like, okay. But then he'd actually raise it because he is a meticulous little fella, and it would turn into the Grimmsnarl.
Oh no. Okay, this is different. Surge, what have you done? I think even Surge would be like,
So just imagine when Kit lost his composure with all those water tentacles, and now apply it to semi-magical angry hair goblin.
Mm-hmm. Why does
tentacles everywhere?
Why does Impidimp and Grimmsnarl look almost entirely different?
That's the magic of Pokemon.
Like, Kyle. Literally,
sometimes they go in different directions.
Literally nothing. They have nothing alike. They have nothing in common. There's nothing there.
Pointy noses.
That doesn't count. I mean, I know Pokemon evolutions are just sometimes just completely different Pokemon. Like, they came up with one design and then another design, and they were like, okay, we don't have an evolution for either one of these, so let's just make one the evolution of another. That's what it feels like. It's just weird and confusing. I don't understand, but it's okay. I don't need to understand. It's fine. It's just goofy. If there was a crossover of a TMNT series with Spider-Man, which series would you go with? I personally say TMNT 2012 and Spectacular Spider-Man, my fave, or TMNT 2002 and the 90s Spider-Man?
I think you already answered your question.
I think you nailed it, buddy.
That's dead on.
Uh-huh.
I can't really. Yeah, no, that works. I think I'd rather see the 2012 and Spectacular
Yeah.
myself. I feel like that would be more fun, but they'd both be pretty solid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. God, the Spectacular Spider-Man is so good. I am mad that we didn't get any more of it. It's very frustrating. Such a good show.
Incredibly infectious theme song, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Very good, yes. The 90s Spider-Man also has a great theme song. All these shows have great theme songs. What the heck, man? Just another reason why they should all cross over. Since you incorporated Breezy, what were your plans on incorporating other adventures of characters in the pre-SGW or post? I know Evan contained one character for Silver's cast.
I don't think I had anybody else in mind. Like, I brought in Professor von Schlemmer, which Evan took over into her Silver arc.
Yeah.
Mostly because that's one of the few I remembered. And going back and, rewatching some of the stuff, it's like, okay, he's number one, consistently kind of funny, and number two, way more serious than I remembered for somebody who looks like that and is named like that.
Yeah.
And likewise, Breezy is one of the few reoccurring that had anything resembling a plot or character arc.
Right.
Beyond that, a lot of them are just like bad Saturday Night Live riffs or one-offs. So
you don't like Dub Bears?
No, I'm not particularly engrossed in the Bears.
Well, now I'm sad.
They can stay over there.
Okay.
Because quite frankly, I don't care.
Catella's having a bit of a resurgence these days.
Driven by, I think, like one person with money, but
I don't know.
Ain't gonna shame if that's what you want. Go for it.
I don't know. I don't know if it's
all. No,
that.
you know what?
No.
You know what?
Yeah.
It actually worked on me because she showed up so much within the fandom. I was like, well, all right, how would I approach a Catella revival? And came up with, I thought, a pretty decent approach. So,
I mean,
I don't know if I would have ever seriously pitched it, but it at least made me think about it.
It could have worked. She's not so bad. It's Adventures of, man.
I know.
Equality is relative here. But Breezy is the best one you've pulled by far. Von Schlemmer's fun, but Breezy, perfect. Very nice. You said the Orderix was like Onux's Mafia. Then would Onux be the Italian or Scottish mob till Knuckles kicked his butt?
He's Onux, so Scottish.
Yeah, that would make the most sense.
He was wearing a tam, for pretty sake. Mafia does not mean Italian necessarily.
No. You said Surge and Scourge's battle would be bloody. Who would be the winner and who would be dead?
I don't know. Because Surge is specifically built to be resilient. And yet Scourge has made a career out of getting up after getting beaten down. So which is more powerful? Surge's construction or Scourge's jobber powers?
Who will be dead? Everyone else.
It might just be like this constant running battle where one of them gets beaten to the dirt, the other spits on him, walks off thinking they won. First one gets back up, they fight again, somebody else gets beat down, spat on. Eventually they get back up and they keep fighting forever and ever and ever.
That's why I say eventually everyone else will be dead while they're stuck in permanent combat. Yeah, that sounds about right. They're both the kind of characters that just will not stop. They refuse to quit. I appreciate that. Game Amy is in a room and meets all the people that admired/dated Sonic, be it from Adventures of with Myrna the Merhog, Miss Possum, Roxy, and with Archie Said I Am with Sally, and even her Shokugan manga counterpart. How would each interaction go with talking to them?
I imagine she's the reason why they're all there. She's aware of them, so she decided, you know what? Let's throw a party. Whether it's like a commiseration party or just, we've had a shared interest in the past. Let's just get together and have a nice time. I'll leave that up to you to decide. But I imagine she would have been the one to organize this, and that she's a lovely hostess and everyone just gets along grand.
Yeah. Some of them are like, well, I was younger then. I was kind of stupid. I wouldn't do that now. It's like, oh, we've all been rejected by Sonic Party. Well, okay, they weren't all rejected all from the beginning. Some of them weren't, but eventually, the call of adventure was too much for Sonic. If Boom Studios / Hasbro or Rooster Teeth came to Sega and IDW about a Power Rangers Sonic crossover or a Ruby / Sonic crossover, how would it go? Also, yes, Sonic, you will have to wear pants for this crossover.
Well, that torpedoes the deal right there.
It probably does.
This is really two questions, but whatever. This is his mini episode.
Pretty much, exactly. And Sonic can wear just the top half of a Power Rangers jumpsuit. It's fine.
Well, here's the thing. If it's a full Sentai uniform, that might be an exception. You know?
Okay.
It's not like a shirt and pants. It's a full bodysuit.
Yeah, that's still a very, very silly distinction.
Yeah, but it'd be par for the course.
Good point. Yeah.
For Power Rangers, I almost want to say, well, I don't know which team in particular, but we know which team it would be.
Oh.
It's the one they put into every bloody crossover. So,
of course. Mighty Morphin. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know how the setup would be, but you would have to have at least one Sonic versus Megazord fight.
Mm-hmm.
Not just the individual Zords, the Megazord itself, and he would win because he has a career of beating up giant robots.
Yes, and then a Dragon Zord too, because
yeah. Well, Knuckles has to pilot the Dragon Zord at some point. Don't ask me how he plays the flute with boxing gloves on his hands.
He's just that good.
Yeah. And let's see. God, Death Egg Robot isn't particularly huge. Megazord could punt it. So that's why Rita sends the wand to make her robot grow.
God, Rita and Eggman together would be a frighteningly amazing
They'd use up all the air on the moon.
Yeah. The scenery would not last.
Her minions are constantly building new structures because they're chewing up all the scenery.
Exactly. Yeah. Just constant. Zed's just sitting there like, well, this is my life now.
Are you exposed muscle in a metallic rib cage? That's unsanitary. I have a machine body I could plug you into.
Yeah, okay. He might go for that. Zed might go for that.
Yeah. Mecha Zed?
Oh, man.
As the surprise true final boss, that might be kind of fun.
That would be fun, yeah. Yeah, I like that.
As for Ruby, I'm not super familiar with the franchise. I watched like a handful of season 1 episodes, and it's on season 9, season 11.
Yeah, season 1's the only one I watched. It's only an hour long, so
it's grown huge, and more power to them. I'm glad for their success, but I'm not really up to date on who's in the show and what the main conceits are, so I can't really riff on that as easily.
Yeah, but I think Sonic would fit right in there. He's not out of place with that.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting dark, scary, goopy shadow monsters, that sounds like something Sonic does on a Tuesday.
All I know is Amy needs to get some crazy transforming mecha weapon version of her Pico hammer.
Oh, hell yeah. Yes. Yes. I'm here
Like
for it.
there was some character who was like super bubbly, hyperactive, pink themed with hearts and a hammer that I vaguely remember. I'm like, oh well, there's Amy Rose.
I think that's
They already
Nora.
put her in the show.
Yeah, I think that's Nora, yeah. We got Yang and Knuckles as Bash Brothers, just back to back, just punching things left and right. Beautiful, amazing. Yeah, there's fun to be had there. I think it could work easily. Sega managed to get Sega to bring Styx in as the second guardian of the Master Emerald. How would you do it? P.S. Sega did allow Knuckles to join the group in Japanese VTube by letting Amy guard the Master Emerald, so food for thought for you and Evan to get Knuckles into the story.
Yeah, that was a thing. Only it doesn't really particularly solve the problem, because how did Amy get up there? And now Amy's not available for the story because she's up there guarding the rock. But it's an idea. Anyway, the idea that I had, that I pitched back in the day, and I don't think is ever going to fly, so I feel safe enough putting it out there, is that she had always lived on Angel Island, and she and Knuckles just hadn't ever run into each other this entire time. And she was rather angry that somebody had come to her island and put that big rock there. When did that get there? She's never seen it before. So, comedy of errors later, she and Knuckles would bond over their desire to protect their homeland, and she would just become the interim guardian if he needed to go off and do things.
Good enough. I wouldn't be okay with that. Although, I still want Styx to be involved in things, so I'd be like, aw, man, we can't have Styx and Knuckles at the same time. always gotta rotate. Oh, well. And we have one last question. Out of all these, you've seen yes or no. You too, Kyle. Digimon, Ultraman, Gao Gaigar, Kamen Rider, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and Cyborg 009. Gao Gaigar and Getter Robo were the inspiration for Gurren Lagann, so it is going to be fun if you give it a watch, especially Getter Robo Armageddon.
I haven't seen any of those enough to say, yeah, I saw that. Like,
right.
Ultraman, I saw like 5 minutes of before having to run off to school one morning, and I could never find it again. I mean, I know of Kamen Rider, I know of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, and let me look up Cyborg 09.
I mean,
if this is what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I remember catching like a episode on Toonami back in the day, but I haven't like seen any of them.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I have not seen... I've barely heard of some of them. I mean, Digimon is the one that probably am the most familiar with, and that's only because my stepbrothers watched it here and there, but that was about it. Otherwise, I know of Kamen Rider. I've seen the memes of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And maybe a tiny bit of Ultraman at some point, but yeah, I mean, I grew up without cable, so I missed a lot of things, sadly. But what I didn't miss is that we got to the end of all these questions.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Chaos Sonic 1, for sponsoring this BumbleKast Mini. If you want your own BumbleKast Mini, become a $25 patron over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, or a YouTube member. Until then, we'll see you next time.
See ya!